Hey trader. Okay, so let's try out this FXReplay tool, and we're going to do some realistic backtesting on the Asia model. So I'm using FXReplay. What I like is the TradingView charts integration, and this is a pretty cool tool, man. It seems to be new on the scene. It's got some really cool features, the integration with TradingView. It also seems to be picked up by several traders that are known on the socials. So I want to check it out. Let's check out the dashboard. Oh, I'll also drop in the description a discount code for anybody interested. First things first, going up on the settings, I want to make sure to take off replay. So any backtesting session, you can't go back and almost like see the charts and come back again. So that should help with accountability. And up here, we'll go to the dashboard and let's create a session. So 25K. And I want to do AUD JPY. It's got a ton of pairs here. Let's go. How far back could this go? Let's go 2016 and September. We're in September now. I know Labor Day is somewhere here, so let's say Tuesday the 6th, and I'll go to the 31st of this year. I'm gonna use the Asia model new day gap. HK market. That's gonna be my model. And basically just taking the 3 o'clock and 9:15 that I've dropped on the channel before, and that should be good. I do not want smooth candles. I want to see gaps. Okay, so let's test this out. So I've already been using this. I really like it. You've got your dashboard down here. I'm going to shrink that, and I am trying out this indicator just to speed up some of the simpler markings. So not an indicator true, but an indicator for just lines. It's called New Day of Week and Opening Price Indicator by FXReplay. And what I did to help with the new day gap is I got my day separators. That's this stuff here. Let's do dark. And I set my start of new day to midnight, classic ICT style. Then I put the opening gap at 3 o'clock, opening price candle at the open, made that a different color, and then I put the New York as the 9:15 gap. So I just manipulated these two. I wish I could change the title of the label on this. But anyway, gonna do that. And yeah, that should be set. Maybe I change this. I can see easier. Okay, so we'll see. I don't know if I'm going to keep it. I like it for now, but let's see. All right, next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to hide the nav bar, get as much screen real estate. There's another way. I could go full screen, and can I hide the nav bar? Yeah, and then I can still hide the nav bar. Okay, great. So I'm maximized. I've minimized my drawings over here. The next thing I want to do is get my economic calendar. And I've already set some filters, but this filter up here, let's say you're starting from scratch, it would look like this. Nothing is selected. You'd simply type in the markets that you're interested in. So Australia, Japan, and I want to see high and medium impact news. And I'll apply that. So now I've got all of that here. I could filter it just to the red folders, but I want to see the orange as well. And I can see past and future markets. So I want to see what's coming up in the most recent week. So here we go. So we're at September 16th, Tuesday. Let's just make this a little smaller. Just need to barely see it. Just like TradingView, I've kind of favorited my time frames. I'm gonna add the 2-minute this pair. Next thing, and I already changed my colors and settings. Same thing with TradingView settings, appearance, and you can do all your chart manipulation and such here. I also want to jump ahead just to Asia session time. So this model, I guess I better lay out the rules of this model. One quick sec. Okay, so just typed out the rules. So effectively, time-based is 9:20. Mark out the new day gap, which this indicator should help with. And for longs, I'm going to say it's a long or short when there's a sweep back into the range. I can only be long when we're above the new day gap. I can only be short when we're below the new day gap. And the intention is just to stick to one model, right? Like that's the whole idea of backtesting something. You want to just stick to one model, see how it plays out, and I'll try to use this as maybe an intro video and then do some updates or something, depending on how long this video is. So I want to get my Asia session, and I'm gonna set it to 9:15. So what this allows, this is really cool. Go to you just jump ahead, and you can set up a ton of different ones. You can have silver bullet timings. You can have new day sessions if you have setups or models there. I'm gonna use Asia for this one, so I'll save that. So we are right now at 1:50 New York time. So I'm going to jump ahead to the next Asia session, and that gives me this setup here. So I am right at 9:15. I've got my new day gap laid out. I've got my midnight open. So just as I said in the rules, let's do our previous session high and low. So 7 o'clock, 1 o'clock, 8 o'clock. 8 o'clock, and then I set my highs and lows. And this already is telling me I got quite a bit of liquidity that just got created here. So did we have a news event? So September 6th. There was nothing on the news event side of things. Okay. All right, so Asian session. We just popped down. Okay, so this model is going to be very narrow, and I'm starting it off with just a simplicity, right? So 3 o'clock open is here, 9:15 open just delivered here, and we've got looks like we got more liquidity going up. Let's pop up to the H1 real quick. So ultimately, there's a crap ton of liquidity going down, and daily. Just swept above. I like how it freezes you at the time that you have. Okay, so let's just follow the model rules. Let's just wait and see exactly how this plays out. So the model rules are: we can be long when we're above the new day gap, short when we're below the new day gap, and entry time frame. And then entry. No entry before 10/2200. That's 10 p.m. TP is 1 to 2. Okay, so let's see. Where is 10? So this new day gap is really of a PM session setup. So I'm waiting for 10, and I know I've got my lunch at 10:30, 11:30. So I want to track that as well. All right, we're going to let this play on 1 minute speed, and let's roll. the other thing I like about it too is that even though it's slow, it actually shows candle fluctuations, whereas TradingView, whatever time frame you're on, that's just the next candle just populates on the playback speed. Okay, so we've been running down, but in order to go short, I would have liked to see a sweep and then a return into the range, which I did not get here. So not liking that. So let's wait and see what we have here. And we're waiting for 10. Let's at least get to 10 o'clock. Okay, so 10 o'clock we see the opposite. So that's looks like we're sweeping back into the range. If anything, this fair value gap here, so sweeping back into the range means we're down, back into the range, down, and then we'd be heading up. So we're not staying below. So sweep back into the range, long or short, when sweep and back into the range, I'm using a new day gap model. So I've got my previous session ranges here, and I see that I'm using a new day gap, and I'm looking at this as my draw. Even though the overall framing shows shorts, I'm testing the model, and this is the model. So if there is a break above here, or here, because we already got a shift here. So these are all market structure shifts and time of day and 10 o'clock. So let's follow this model and see what we get. There is an inversion fair value gap here. Using the new day gap, the entry would be on the gap. So let's see. I like using the actual work is going to be in, oh, there we go. So the actual work is going to be in like waiting for the candles, which is wild when you think about it, because waiting for the candles is the hardest part of trading. And just pause it for a second. So hardest part in the back testing tool is that you're trying to simulate real market conditions, but when you're playing the market, if you let it go too fast, you're cheating yourself. So you have to really slow it down, right? A lot of back testing is just that internal dialogue with yourself. So anyway, we've got our market structure shifts, consecutive green candles breaking back into the range. The range at this point would be the new day gap. So I would set a entry at new day gap low 915, stop below the swing 2.89, TP at next range high. So the range high is a new day gap, or a 1 to 2. So let's go 1 to 2. Because I see this fair value gap as well, so it could form some resistance. As we come into the lunch, I'm kind of expecting, you know, lunch might dilly up, and then halfway through the lunch we should dip back down, and then even if it comes back here, but ultimately challenging this fair value gap and ideally getting here. So that's the model. Them's the rules. So to set a trade, I'm going to say place order. And it's a limit. Oh, that's cool. That's short keyboard shortcuts. Okay, so Alt B for a limit. Market is Alt M. So probably, okay, so I like limits. I'm going to use 0.3%, which is $75. And it's got my details here. It's a buy, it's a limit. So let's save that. So I'll have my setup. It's a 1 to 2. And I'm going to end my chart time at 2 a.m. and basically skip ahead to the next session. So let's just line that out. That's 2 o'clock. And I don't need this anymore. I've got my lunch timing, kill zone, PM session will start there. And I should see a midnight new day line start to form here. So let's see how this plays out. So 2 market structure shifts. I'm using the new day gap model. I'm just using the slowest time to give myself the most realistic feeling, I guess, in the market. And let's see. The painful part of waiting. This is where the psychology gets tested the most. So we're in the lunch hour, and we want to see one of these fair value gaps. Probably is going to be the draw or the new day gap. So here's that evaporation around lunch. I already had an aggressive pre-session move. There wasn't a news event on the 6th though. Past. Yeah. 12:30 on the 6th. That was way earlier. Come. And on the 7th, nothing crazy to watch out for. So we'll see. I do think one thing I have seen with this is I'm not sure exactly how things like spread work. Okay. So we're dipping in right around the halfway point of lunch, which is that's what I'd like. Anywhere between here and here, the end of lunch, I'd want to see that kind of dip down. So anywhere in here and here. So let's take that off, and we've been bearish. This is an aggressive bearish move, which is why either taking the full range, but at least a 2-to-1. And the reason I came up with 2-to-1 was I'd looked at some of my Asia model studies before, and it more than likely hits 2-to-1. It can run aggressive when the macroeconomics are in our favor. So back in 2016, I don't even know what was happening in 2016. I just chose a date back in time to see if this model replicates, but I'll check the macroeconomics at a different point. So we're waiting for 2. I think for the purpose of the video, it's going to take a long time. But what I would do is I would just sit here and I would just wait, and I would just stew in my emotions and journal and try to write and try to simulate what exactly is going through my mind as I'm seeing these fluctuations in price. But for the purpose of this, let's at least get to 2 o'clock. And then I'll show you what I would do next. So whether it's a stop out or it's a profitable trade, it doesn't matter, right? The purpose of the back testing is to say, okay, am I doing what I said I was going to do? And in that time, all that time between here and here, when I'm watching this thing and just stewing in my emotions, how do I feel about it? And then what I would simply say is, okay, I have to accept the outcome. What's my rule? My rule is TP at next range of 1 to 2, end chart time at 2:30, and set to break even. So I did actually say 2:30. So let's get to 2:30. Okay, so that's 2:30. All right, my rule is break even. Oh my gosh, man. I'm gonna go below this next fair value gap. So my rule is 2:30. I think that fair value gap is gonna get hit. But anyway, this is the emotions of it all. And then I'll say, okay, go to next Asia session, and oh, trade worked out, or would be working out, but that break even should have just gone break even. You know, that's it. That's the thing. Instead of taking even a partial loss, either set the whole thing or set it to break even and let it ride out. And let's see how this thing plays into the next session. Oh, no, you know what? The whole point of this is to let it be as realistic as possible. So I think you can see the value of doing a back testing tool that just, it keeps you accountable. And what we do is take the nav bar, go to the dashboard, and then you can see even on every session, look at the analytics, takes a while, spits everything out, and could have been a 3.76. So this pulls into the future and said that trade would have gone to profit. Anyway, so you know, that's kind of what it is. So this is the review of the FXReplay dashboard. You can already see all the value that something like this can give in terms of insight and even about yourself. But being able to go back to 2016, having a format that looks like TradingView, lay out your model rules, and it is what it is, you know, just let the whole thing play out. Ah, now I just really want to see, would it have gone anywhere? Just for the morbid curiosity. Yeah, there it is. All right, so like I said, I think there's a ton of value in kind of doing back testing this way. It forces you to kind of sit and stew in those emotions and see exactly how you would feel, and to be able to take yourself back to 2016 and just be like, does my model actually have any validity? Are there things or insights I could learn from this? For example, just set it and let it work out. If you're not taking any partials, then just it is what it is. Let that trade kind of do its thing. All right, I'll do another review. I think I want to get some more data on this and then maybe come back and show some of the power of that analytics as well. All right, we'll do it again.